Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm reading for Leo energy and yeah, we're going to jump into it. You don't have to be Leo sun sign for this to resonate, although we've got the sun card here. I'm getting a lot of sun energy. I've got sunstone out, so the sun is actually out as well today physically in the real world, for me at least. So there's a lot of sun energy, which is very, very positive. It's very light, it's very high vibrational, it's very confident. So this is feeling quite good. I'm also getting a little bit of moon energy intuitively. So just be careful of that. There's like something underlying your reading. There's something under the happiness or something that's not being seen or something being a little bit hidden. Just be aware of that. Again, I don't kind of want to pull this reading down. I want to keep it high vibrational because it's like the sun is coming in to give you clarity. Like, focus on the positivity. Maybe you've had a bit of an up and down mood, and maybe this is saying like focus on the positive things in your life. Focus on the things you can do, not the things you can't do. You know, like glass half full. It's kind of like what you think about, you bring about. So if you focus on the good, the universe is going to give you more good. If you focus on the bad, the universe is going to just hear that and kind of you're going to accidentally manifest it. So there could be a message like that coming through. Just to kind of say as well, like if you've got other Leo placements like Leo Virgo, what? Maybe somebody's a Virgo, Leo Venus, Leo Mars, Leo Moon, and maybe it is that somebody's Leo Moon. That might be why I'm picking up on this moon energy. You know, this reading may resonate as well. It may not. It's fine if it doesn't. It's just somebody else's reading today. The most important messages are going to come through for the people who need them the most. So if it's not your reading, just let it slide and just know that somebody really needed it today. You may also find that your other placements may suit you better. So go and check out your other placements. Anything that feels like it's strongly drawing you, you know, could be for you. So, my lovely, lovely, lovely Leos, a lot of sun energy and a lot of cat energy. Like I'm seeing cats everywhere. I'm getting cat references. I'm hearing about cats in songs. It's just everything is cats for you today, which makes sense because you're the lion, right? You can see I've even got the Queen of Wands out, which normally for me is a Sagittarius card. You could have a Sagittarius around you. These three cards for me represent your energy. I'm just using this for channeling. But again, the cat is like, there's something about the cat. I even woke up and I was doing something. I was distracted, and I saw this image 3 times. They kept on putting this image in my head, and it was like a painting, and it was a painting of a cat, but the cat had a top hat on. It was kind of like, it wasn't a black cat, it was kind of like a gingery, maybe like tortoiseshell type cat, and I feel like it had like a little suit with a little like white cravat on as well, and this top hat. So they showed it me 3 times. They kept showing it me, and I was like, I'm busy, like, why are you showing me this cat in a top hat right now? So yeah, just, it's for somebody, right? And I was like, of course they're showing me cats, it's Leo. And I also heard, I was kind of like walking home from dropping my son off to school, and I heard cats always land on their feet. So if you're worried about something, it's like, it's okay, you're gonna land on your feet, right? Okay, so, right, focus. So I was really drawn to the sunstone for you. It's kind of like, I was explaining this to someone this morning. Being intuitive, it's like, I'm getting a lot of computer game stuff as well, which I'll kind of come back to. But I was saying, like, being intuitive, it's like, if you ever play a computer game, right, and you've got like the environment, and there's things that you can like click on and interact with in the environment, you like the stuff that you can actually pick up and collect, and it always stands out slightly. It's like it's a slightly different art style, or it's like sometimes it has like a little border around it. It's like you tend to know what things you can interact with and what things you can't interact with, and maybe that's something in itself. So maybe none of you are playing computer games, but it's like knowing what is for you and what isn't for you, right? Knowing what you can pick up and what you need to drop, or what you need to ignore even. It's like, that's not for you. So I was saying, getting intuitive messages sometimes is like just walking around, and it's like being really, really pulled to something. It's like my intuition, my attention is going to that thing. It's like it's standing out more than it would normally do. So it's like I can be in the same room with the same things, and I'll be drawn to different things for different people during different readings. So my daughter had put this like stuffed cat, like a teddy bear cat, on the table, and I was just staring at this cat. It was like all my attention was on this cat. So again, cats, really strongly for you. Right, okay, so the sunstone, even though I've got like loads and loads and loads of like crystals sat here on my table, it was like this was like really drawing my attention. My eye was just it was like that. It was like all my focus was on this sunstone, even though it was mixed in with the others. So this could be a message for you to use your own intuition more, right? Trust your own intuition. What are you being drawn to? Where is your attention going? This is going to come back in a moment when I talk about something else I got intuitively for you. So just pay attention. Kind of remember this thing about something standing out from the rest is the like a key message for you. It's like something that doesn't fit or something that's for you in a busier situation. So the sunstone, it says, sunstone is a joyful, light-inspiring stone. It instills joie de vivre and good nature and heightens intuition. I'm reading from the Crystal Bible, by the way, by Judith Hall. If life has lost its sweetness, again, some of you may have a bit of a negative mindset at the moment. Just be careful about like having a victim mentality. Of course, sometimes we are literally victims, like victims of crime. But if you see yourself as a victim, you actually perpetrate that. Maybe perpetrators could be something. Maybe some of you are dealing with like legal stuff. But perpetuate, I think was the word I was going for. You perpetuate that. Like the way you think of yourself is really, really important. It's like, what if you were the character? What if the world is a computer game, right? What if we're in a simulation and you can write your own code? Like, what if you get to design your own character? Do you want to be like, I'm a character who constantly gets kicked and beaten up and like trodden down? No, that's not what we design for ourselves as the main character. So if you could maybe do this as like a little exercise, like pause the reading, sit there for 5 minutes and be like, if I was the main character, if I was the main protagonist, who would I be? What would I be like? What would my traits be? You know, maybe a lot of you would say I'd be really lucky, you know, like I'd like take opportunities, I'd trust my gut, I'd trust my instincts would really pay off. I don't know, you know, a cat always lands on its feet, right? So maybe this is something for you as well. It's like, see yourself as just be careful about ego though, like just again to rein it back in. There's going to like different messages for different Leos. Having that big Leo ego doesn't mean that you're necessarily confident. It just means that you are very, very self-aware, and that can sometimes be negative, right? Sometimes that can be you beat yourself up more than other people. I know a lot of Leos who really can get very down in the dumps sometimes, so just be aware of that, you know. So yeah, just on the other scale of that though, on the other end, and I don't tend to find this that much about Leos, to be honest, and it's kind of a stereotype of them, but that almost like narcissistic, self-obsessed, self-absorbed, me aspect of Leo. I don't tend to necessarily find that very much about Leos that I know. But again, if you are a very self-focused Leo, if you are the sort of person who thinks about yourself and not necessarily about others, you may actually have a bit of that God complex, and you may actually, and again, this is all about self-awareness. It's not going to be for everybody. We all have strengths and things that we're learning to work with. So if you are self-aware enough to recognize, oh, sometimes I can be a little bit self-absorbed, sometimes I can have a little bit of a God complex, I can see myself as like the protagonist in a movie. On the flip side, you know, just excuse me about my throat there, just, oh, what's going on here? This is something that's a message for somebody. That's your throat chakra. Maybe somebody who's having difficulty speaking up or explaining something to you, or you're doing this to someone else. Big throat chakra message came through there. Yeah, just be careful. Just be careful that you're not getting a little bit too self-focused, right? Turn that attention outwards and just check your surroundings. That could be all it is. It could be telling you, check your surroundings, who's around you, right? It's not all about you. There's other, maybe it's like, it's a multiplayer game, right? There's other protagonists. So I don't know why it's coming through that way, but it is. So take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Clearing all the chakras. Oh, just as I'm talking about my throat chakra, clearing all the chakras and bringing in light energy. This stone allows the real self to shine through happily. I love that, because in your last reading, and it concerned me, you were getting this stuff about like Two-Faced, you know, Harvey Dent from Batman. You're getting Batman stuff again, just to kind of tell you. I don't know, I'm obsessed with Batman. I've watched the movie twice now, so maybe one of you is like also obsessed with Batman and that's why it's coming through so much. But it's coming through specifically for you in your readings. And this kind of like two-face, wearing a mask, not incorporating the shadow self. So I feel like somebody really needs to do that shadow work, really needs to work at not almost just being careful about like playing different roles in different situations, or what is your public face doing and what is your private face doing. So again, definitely I'm getting this moon energy. Definitely look at your moon placement. If you don't know what it is, hopefully I'll put a link in the description box down below for astrologycafe.com and their birth chart service. If I don't put the link in the description, just Google it. So Astrology Cafe or Cafe Astrology birth chart service. I get it mixed up. I don't know which way around it is. But you should be able to find it quite easily, and it's a free service. There's other birth chart calculators out there. You don't have to use the one I'm recommending. But do go and check out your moon placement, because your moon tends to say what you're like behind closed doors. I've got a Gemini moon, which means I'm a scatterbrain and I can be a little bit moody, especially like behind closed doors. It's like sometimes I just need my space, and I'm very messy. So, but you could have something a bit dark as your moon. That's kind of what I'm picking up on. This bright sunshine. I need to be the center of, no, it's like I'm the main protagonist. I'm the hero of this movie. So therefore I need to be perfect. Again, like Harvey Dent, right? That kind of golden boy of Gotham City. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just don't worry about it. Just pick up the subtext of like what I'm saying. Not subtext, the gist. Just get the gist, right? You don't have to know the ins and outs of Batman. If you're not into it, it's fine. But anyway, this character, he is like the golden boy. He's the person that everybody else is looking to for like leadership and guidance. You may be finding this yourself. Everybody's looking to you. You want to be, you want to be seen as like infallible almost. But then your moon could actually be a little bit darker. So you could have something like, I'm getting a lot of Pluto and Scorpio. So you could have like a Scorpio or Pluto moon, which is a little bit dark, it's like the darkest sign of the zodiac. So just be really self-aware and really because if you want to go look at Carl Jung and the shadow, it's when we don't address that shadow, when we're kind of flitting between two different characters, when we haven't incorporated our own shadow, it's actually toxic to us, right? It's self-destructive, and it causes a lot of problems in our life. Where when we address our shadow and we find ways to incorporate it in a healthy way, a healthy and productive way, it turns into the golden shadow, which is like unlocking your true potential. So if you don't know what all that is, please go and look it up. I waffle on about it all the time. I know, I'm sorry to the people who are sick of hearing it, but some people are watching my video for the first time and I need to explain things, so maybe I need to do a what is your fucking shadow video for people. I can just point people to that video. Okay, the real self to shine through happily. Traditionally it linked to benevolent gods and to luck and good fortune. I didn't know which deck to use as one of your deck in this placement, and I think I know what I need to use now. I was kind of getting drawn to it, and I think that's confirmation. This is an alchemical stone that brings about a profound connection to light and to the regenerative power of the sun during meditation and in everyday life. Please do your meditations. Some of you are going to have Scorpio in Pluto in Scorpio, because I was getting LORDE mood rings, sun salutations, Pluto in Scorpio generation. I'm Pluto in Libra generation, but some of you are definitely going to be Pluto in Scorpio. Sunstone is extremely useful for removing hooks from other people. Be careful, I was seeing a bit of devil energy, which was coming through as a bit obsessive, a bit clinging. Some of you could have a bit of a toxic ex. Just again, heads up, trigger warning, red flags. Where they're located in the chakras or the aura, these hooks are at the mental or emotional level and may come from possessive parents, children, or lovers. They have the effect of draining your energy. Sunstone lovingly returns the contact to the other person and is extremely beneficial for tie cutting. Keep Sunstone with you at all times if you have difficulty saying no, and continually make sacrifices for others. So if you have trouble like giving too much of your power away, Sunstone's going to help you say no and put those boundaries up. Removing codependency, it facilitates self-empowerment, independence, and vitality. If procrastination is holding you back, Sunstone will overcome it. And it's also an antidepressant, and it lifts dark moods, which I was picking up on, especially seasonal affective disorder, lightening the darkness of winter. Okay, removes feelings of being discriminated against, disadvantaged, and abandoned. That's that victim mentality I was talking about. Removing inhibitions and hang-ups. Okay, so another thing that's coming through, I was watching this a YouTube channel called Soft White Underbelly, which looks at a lot of like, you know, the reality of like what people are dealing with on like a street level. So it's not what you're seeing on Instagram, it's not what you're seeing on social media, it's not what you're seeing in movies and TV shows. It's like the real lives of real people. A lot of it is like LA based, I think that's where they're based. But they talk to a lot of different people with a lot of different problems or a lot of different things that they're, you know, a lot of different experiences. And it's surprising actually how common things that you think are uncommon are. So you may want to go and check out that channel. But what really stood out to me, I was watching this story of one guy who was homeless, and he was extremely privileged, right? He came from a very, very well-to-do family. They had a lot of money. He had a good family, parents who cared about him. They were very busy with their work, but they cared about him. And I think he had a little bit of abandonment, like a little bit of, you know, wanting his parents' attention. Because he had like nannies and stuff, so he started acting up in school, but he had like so many opportunities, like he was in a band, all this stuff. And watching that interview, I was very aware of how especially because he had been using substances, which I think as well made him very, very self-focused. So he was very intently self-focused and not necessarily, and very much seeing himself as a victim and not taking accountability or ownership for the way that he, quite frankly, had mucked up all these opportunities that he'd been given. He could have had the best life. He was given so many opportunities that a lot of people can only dream of. And yet it was like he was self-sabotaging, at least from my perspective from watching this video. And the guy at the end, the interviewer, was saying, you've got a victim mentality. It's like he was coasting on his good looks. He was coasting on his, you know, on that kind of like golden boy blessing that he had just about him as a person, his carrying kind of charisma and his looks, and yet he was ruining his life. He was addicted to substances. He was homeless. He was, you know, he'd lost his music contract, all this kind of stuff. And yet it was like he saw himself as the protagonist in his own movie, and yet he was the one messing everything up. So what do you do when opportunities come your way? Do you make the most of them, or are you self-sabotaging? Again, this could be somebody around you. Right, okay, big introduction. I'm sorry, guys. I know some of you just want me to get to the cards, but I've got a lot of intuitive stuff coming through. So I'm going to prefix this last bit of intuitive stuff with, a lot of the times I get some stuff that's a little bit dark or a little bit difficult for me to think, how am I going to translate this message to people? So if you know that you're in a bit of a toxic situation, I'm waving red flags at you right now. Just be careful and get yourself out of those situations and get yourself the help and support you need. For others of you, I'm going to say that it's probably just that you're watching some sort of movie or playing some sort of computer game, because I was getting Just the Other Girl by The Killers and Use Somebody by Kings of Leon. So one thing that I'm kind of getting from that, and which kind of they started to show me images of, was examples of hitmen. So the computer game, the literal computer game Hitman, they were showing me that, especially a scene from one of the older games. And I remember it's like one of those kind of like mind-blowing scenes where you think, wow, the computer generation on this is amazing, because it was like I think there was like a carnival going on. You were in this like city, it was like a built up area, and you could go in and out of clubs and in and out of buildings, but the streets were packed. There were so many NPCs on those streets. So this thing about being in a crowd or being in a city is coming through for you. So the computer game Hitman, and I was also getting obviously Kings of Leon. It could just be saying Leo, but I was getting Leon, like the movie Leon, which again is about this hitman, right? And I was really, really, and I was getting Hit Girl. So there's another movie where there's this character called Hit Girl. Now she's quite young and she has this kind of like purple bobbed hair, and they're really drawing me to that kind of purple bobbed hair. So I'm not, they're showing me again lots of images very quickly. So Hit Girl, that kind of purple bobbed hair, and being very young and being in a kind of like a city environment. And then the girl in Leon as well, she's got that kind of bobbed hair. They're also showing me Catwoman, again from the Batman man, and I'm not going to do any spoilers. It's just a visual image, but there's one image where she's in a crowded place, and she's got this kind of pink bobbed wig on. So there's this thing about the bright coloured hair probably, and this kind of like bobbed hair shape, and I want to say someone who's quite young but quite street smart coming through very, very strongly. So what I'm also getting is this kind of bond. So again, with this thing about like being in a busy situation or a crowd, or being able to, you know, see what's for you, or feeling like you're intuitively being drawn to a specific thing. It's like something just popping out of a image. So it was coming through like how I was saying about like how the sunstone, or like if you're in a computer game, the things that you can interact with often stand out. But this was coming through like it being in a crowd, and almost like picking somebody out of a crowd that like you have an instant connection with, or you know them, or they're the same as you. So it was like, again, it's like you're not the only protagonist in this game, in this movie. It's a multiplayer, and then it's like recognizing that somebody else is in that crowd, like they're the same as you, right? Something like this. She's not just another girl. So that song by the Killers, Just Another Girl. Why Don't the Moon Look Right? You know, I could go out, I could be reeling them in left and right. I could be, you know, it's like, I don't find it difficult to pick up girls. So why is this girl, what is it about this girl? Why is she different? Like that kind of thing. So again, even if you look here, like, it's like, this King of Wands with all this land behind him. It's like the King of Wands are here with all this land behind him, with all this like it's like he could have everything he ever wanted. He's the golden boy, and yet he's looking at her because she's his equivalent, she's his counterpart, is the way I'm seeing it. And it's like he's even picked a flower out of his fields and given it to her. It's like this king is like this. It's just like the golden boy, right? The golden child. I don't know if this is you, because this is all the Leo energy, like, and then noticing this kind of like Sagittarius energy, and it's like, why is she different? Now, talking about personal experience, my dad's a Leo, and he was with my mum, and he had a series of girlfriends, some of them long term and some of them short term, and he's eventually like remarried. Now, the two relationships that I feel were most successful for him, both of the women he was dating were Sagittariuses. So he's married to a Sagittarius now, and he had a long-term, really good relationship with another Sagittarius. So we've got Leo and Sagittarius here. So it's what works about these relationships is that they stand up to him, and they're not pushovers, right? You know, they will kind of like, they can be a bit argumentative, but it's like, that's what he needs, right? What he doesn't need, and the relationships that were particularly unsuccessful are the people who are like overly clingy, or who are pushovers. If the woman he's dating is a pushover, he loses interest really quickly. So, you know, it doesn't work for him. And, you know, he's not going to give them what they need either with that, you know, because they need somebody who's going to give them a bit more attention. So there's something like that coming through there. So I feel like this King of Wands, which is coming through with the Leo energy, is noticing this person. She's not just another girl. You know, she'll not fight back, again, red flag warning, but like, you know, she'll give as good as she gets, right? She's not a pushover. So, right, done. Bloody hell, what a long introduction. I've got other stuff to be doing today as well. Right, so get yourself some sunstone, especially if your mood's a bit low. I'm just going to strip off, sorry, Leos, it's really warm today. Right, okay, jumper off. Let's go. Let's get you some letters. So these could be your initials. They could be the initials of a person that you're thinking about. They could spell something out, and you can think, oh, that kind of is making me think of that thing or that word. Again, trust your intuition. Whatever you get is for you. If you don't get anything, it's fine. It's just, you know, messages for someone else today. So I have to say, I freaked out at what came out for Gemini's reading, and it keeps spelling like specific things out. And I swear to God, like, and this is the thing, you can't use like your intuition, your psychic powers for like selfish reasons. So if I'm actually playing Scrabble, I get the worst letters. It's like I get all vowels or all consonants. I can never make a word. It's like they don't help me out at all when I'm playing Scrabble as a board game. But doing intuitive readings, like the stuff that comes out, they will give me like full words. So S. It's freaky. It's freaky, some of the stuff I get. And sometimes I know what they're going to spell out. I'm like, they're going to spell that, and then they do. Like, they're such trolls as well. Like, one of the things that they spelled out, I was like, wow, that was rude. It was, like, very directed at me. Over here. Maybe getting someone, drawing somebody away from the crowd, right? Let me just have a quick word with you. Okay, and I know, whatever you get from that, I'm not getting anything much from that, but SP Street, are you going to like a certain street? Okay, whatever you get, if you don't get anything, that's absolutely fine. TV, STV. STV, isn't that like a kids' TV show in the UK? Wasn't that like what Ant and Dec were on? Right, okay. What do we have, please, for my lovely, lovely Leos for today? Lovely, lovely Leos for today. What do we have for my Leos? The moon. Told you. Yeah, it's something a bit hidden, something that you need more clarification on. It's a very, very watery card. It's very intuitive. Again, you're getting a lot of stuff about using your intuition, what's standing out to you, what's tugging on your attention. Is there something that's like, you know, your thoughts keep going back to that personal thing, or like, you know, you've got that itch, like there's something that I'm overlooking here, or there's something that I need to look more closely at. It's like, trust your intuition. Very, very watery. It's kind of a little bit magical. Yeah, it just feels like look more closely at something, and I feel like you'll know what it is that you need to look more closely at. It's also the Eight of Cups, and again, the Eight of Cups is this feeling of like something's missing, something's not right, I feel unsettled, I feel a bit restless, I feel like I need to go and explore something. So that feeling of like, or it could be like longing as well, like pining for something. That's coming through there. 32 could be a significant number. I've also wrote down the number 43. 43 could be important to somebody. False person. Number 8. Marriage. I mean, I don't know. I don't know your situation. Yeah, no, there's definitely secrets. The moon is a really secretive energy. And false person as well. It's like, again, I was getting that thing about the throat chakra, not being able to get the words out. There's something not being said. Could be in a marriage situation, doesn't have to be. I don't want to kind of freak anyone out. Like, if you think I thought my marriage was perfect, it probably is. It's probably just not a message for you. But if you've been sat there for a while, like it may not even be your marriage as well. It might be like a friend who's like, you think, are they happily married? Because it doesn't look like it, you know? Or it's like, you know, it's that feeling of like something feels off. You know, something feels off. Something's not being said. What day are we on? Friday. Sorry, I'm getting one of the beep beep trucks coming past. Yeah, something's off. Something's not being said. Something's being kept a secret. Like, it's just that feeling of like something's not right. Like, trust it. Trust the niggle. You've got 2 8s as well. So I feel like there is something where there's a link between you and somebody else, like that kind of unbreakable bond, soulmate energy. I've got this feeling of like you want to find out more about a situation. Like there's something that you're not being told, right? There's something that's not being said, something that's not being told. Right, with that thing about the God complex and the stuff that it was saying about the Sunstone, I'm actually going to get you Gods and Titans and Gods and Sirens by Stacey DeMarco. Let's just see what you get. And I'm not going to kind of read too much into it, but let's just see what comes out for you. So this is that, like again, there's apparently 72 recognized genders I found out yesterday. I thought there was like 50, but apparently it's 72. It's like, wow, that is a lot of different ways for people to identify. There's a lot of people in the world, so, you know, it'd be boring if we just all identified as 2 genders, right? But however you identify, there's a male deck, there's a female deck, so take it as you will, right? Sorry about the background noise. They always stop right outside the house. Vishnu, balance, very Libran. Kind of gives me like multitasking, handling a lot of things at once. He kind of has that kind of like, he looks like he's dancing on stage or something, or like jumping out and going, surprise. I always say, it reminds me of like Stitch, you know, Lilo and Stitch. I say this all the time in work, and Prometheus as well, altruism. Yeah, Prometheus, he actually created humans in Greek myth. This is him creating humans. The story of Prometheus is obviously a lot of people know the story about him stealing fire from the gods and bringing it down to humans and being punished by Zeus. But the kind of the aspect of the story that people don't know as well is that he and his brother were given all this clay, and Zeus had kind of, or like the world had been created, and quite playfully they were given this task of like, go and populate this land with lots of different creatures. So his brother went out and he was like really enthusiastic, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna make a horse, oh, I'm gonna make this horse stripy, oh, I'm gonna give it a really long neck and make it like spotty, you know, like he was like off having like, you know, using up all the clay, making all kinds of like wild animals, right? Prometheus, he was a little bit more meticulous. He was like, I want to make, you know, whatever I make, I want it to be like the best thing. I want it to be like really well thought out, very detailed. And he created humans, and that's all he created. He just created, I think, like one man. The first one was created as a gift to his brother, and this was Pandora, if you know the story about Pandora's box. So humans kind of were created out of clay in this myth. So again, I don't want to kind of contradict anything that you believe. It's a story, right? All just talking stories here. So he had a lot of sympathy for the humans. He'd created them. They were kind of like his babies, and he wanted them to be safe. So this is the reason why he went and got the fire, you know, to keep them safe, to give them light, to scare away animals, to allow them to be able to cook food. He wanted to protect them. He wanted to give them this gift. So yeah, but he was punished. And again, back to this kind of victim complex that you just need to be careful about. So Vishnu. I don't know as much about Vishnu. I'm just actually going to look him up. I said I wasn't going to do this, but now I'm curious. Rectifying imbalance in your body, mind, and soul reduces suffering and pain. The middle path is the best course of action. Oh, I was going to say, I always say, like, when a human's going to evolve, to have an extra pair of arms, because we really need them. Like, and I wish I could just pop an extra set of arms out on my side, like Stitch. It'd be so handy. The Hindus believe that both good and evil exist in the world. Now we're going back to that Harvey Dent thing, right? Hindus believe that both good and evil exist in the world, and this is a natural way of being. When harmony is disturbed, Vishnu appears to maintain the balance. White Horse, no way, because I got White Mustang by Lana Del Rey. There's a 10-3, right, hang on, let's just read this. Vishnu, the preserver, is the middle part of the Hindu trinity between Brahma, the creator, and Shiva, I'm sorry if I pronounce anything wrong, the destroyer. So the creator and the destroyer, and that's the balance. So far, Vishnu has reincarnated 9 times, like a cat, right? To assist in the balancing of the powers of light and darkness. These incarnations, or avatars again, and talking about like being a character in a movie or being in a simulation, right? Include those of Rama, Krishna, and Buddha. There is a 10th reincarnation to come when a hero called Kalki will appear, riding a white horse to again balance the decline of humanity. And that's funny because in one of the readings I was getting like, ride a white horse to Bamboo Cross to see a fine lady upon a fine horse. So the shadow side is trying to balance the social life and study, duty and freedom, indulgence and simplicity. And it's almost like walking a tightrope. Yeah, I feel like there is an imbalance. I feel like somebody out there is definitely feeling like a pull between who they're expected to be and who they actually are, or what they need to be, right? Those kind of like basic impulses. So just be careful about that. You know, you want to incorporate and be a whole person, and try and balance that out within you, where you're not feeling like torn apart and feeling like you're 2 different people, but you're like, I'm one person with multiple needs. Definitely seems to be coming through for somebody. Okay, let's have a look at the goddess deck then. I'm just like throwing everything everywhere. Right, okay, so goddess deck for Leo for today, please. Whoa. Hathor, contentment. Aphrodite, love it, self-love, being a Libra myself and being ruled by Venus Aphrodite, and Yemea, hope. Okay, I'm going to let you look those I'm going to let you look those up yourself, because obviously when we're talking about mythology, there's a lot of stories applied to all these different gods, but we've got like 3 different deities from 3 different cultures here. This is Egyptian, this is Greco-Roman, right? Greek, and Venus in Roman, and Yemaya, I don't recognize. I'm not sure what culture that's from. She kind of looks a little bit African to me, but I could just be stereotyping, so just forgive me for that. Just with the dress and things like that, and yeah. But I will look that up myself when I finish the reading. And power, oh yeah, on the bottom there. So make of that as you will. Contentment, self-love and hope. Contentment, self-love and hope. So if we're talking male and female energy, right, the yin yang energy, masculine and feminine within, the masculine energy, again, gender neutral, gender fluid, everyone's welcome here. I'm just, because I'm using these decks, this is what I'm talking about. So Vishnu is like, I've got work to do. I need to bring something into balance. Seems a bit busy with something. So it's almost like the feminine energy, if you identify with that, is being asked to kind of look after yourself right now, have that self-love, try and be content with whatever your situation is. Allow the male energy to do whatever it is that they need to do, and you know, just have hope and keep the vibe high, but focus on yourself right now. Focus on yourself right now. Learn to love yourself. Learn to be content with your own body and who you are. So it kind of is making me think about, you know, how some people own their uniqueness. So I can never think of the word for it, but there's that that thing that's skin thing, I'm sorry, I don't know what word to use, where people can have like patches of different colors. So people can have like brown patches and white patches on the skin, and people are learning to love this and embrace this about themselves. And you're starting to see a lot more models on the catwalk, or you know, Instagram models and things like this, who celebrate their uniqueness and actually make something that was once seen as a flaw into something that is beautiful and desirable, and that they're proud of. They're proud of who they are. And you can say this about freckles as well. I've actually seen beauty influencers starting to draw freckles, or you know, rather than covering up their freckles, they're actually highlighting them, you know, and drawing them back on. So again, it's this thing about what one person may see as a flaw, somebody else may see as something that's very desirable and unique. So don't feel like you have to be the same as everyone else. Actually, I got off the bus in town yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? And the day before, and all the college girls got off the bus at the same time, and they're beautiful, and I'm not criticizing them, you know, but like 90% of them were wearing, you know, jogging bottoms up to the waist, little crop tops, and I wear little crop tops too. I'm wearing one now, right? I'm not judging, but I was just struck by how the same they all were. It was like a uniform that wasn't a uniform, right? And it was that very much that kind of Instagram look, and you know, it's that thing of like, they all look the same, so they don't stand out. Where you could have someone who stands out, and it's that thing about, she's not just another girl, right? There's something special about this one. Or it could be like getting to know somebody, and personally, and you know, maybe they might not fit whatever the kind of like idealized thing about beauty is, you know, whatever is like the standard, everybody does this because this is what's seen as beautiful. It's like you just a sheep at that point. So like doing something different, doing something against the grain makes you stand out, where you're not just the other girl, right? Something like that is coming through that, right? Oh, long reading. I've got things to do, Leo. I can't give you all my attention all the time. Listen, I can come in, I can stroke your ego, I can tell you you're fabulous. Look, I've even painted my nails kind of orangey colours, orange and coral, because I knew I was doing your reading and I wanted to impress you, Leo, because you matter to me, right? But it's like, you know, I can come in, I can stroke your ego, I can like, you know, I can brush your mane, I can give you a scratch, but I've got other stuff to do. Like I can't just be at your side all the time, Leo. Right, I'm making jokes, obviously. I know you don't expect me to like sit here and read for you 24/7, right? A 9-card spread for balance. immediately balance. Look, you've got balance here. This is a card about balance and juggling and being pulled in 2 different directions, and it's the first card out of a 9-card spread. So I'm doing emotions, thoughts, action space, past, present, future. You could be anywhere on the timeline. We could be talking recent past. We could be talking far away future. Oh, Emperor and Empress. And you, and you. Nice. Oh, you've got this. You're capable of this. You've found your person, I want to say. Or you are trying to balance out your yin yang, right? Your feminine and masculine side. Interesting. Gemini got a lot of stuff about drag queens in their reading. A lot of references to drag queens. And even after the reading, I was still getting references to drag queens. I was even sat there Googling drag queens to see if any of them were Geminis. And then I went into work. I did Gemini's reading on Wednesday and it went up on Thursday. And I went into work and the conversation naturally, without my input, turned to people who are transgender and drag queens and gender identity. And I was like, it's funny that I read that and then it played out. Of course, it is a popular topic right now, but this could definitely be somebody who's, if it's not literally about gender identity and figuring out who you are and how you represent. It's just about the yin and yang, the masculine and feminine within us, which we all have, right? We're all a balance of light and dark, yin and yang, this and that. So it's like that energy within us and finding that balance, finding the balance of who people see you are and how you represent. I just saw a bee, which could be significance to somebody. Oh, gorgeous. There you are. I love that card. Gives me really good energy. Along with the Emperor as well. That's really nice. That's somebody who knows what they want and they know how to get it. And kind of like that benevolent leader as well, like the person that you follow because they've got that big, warm, compassionate heart and they're magnetic and, they're a natural born leader, Somebody could be in a third-party situation. I don't always read that. There's a lot of readers who see certain cards and go third-party situation, and I don't do that because that's not the real meaning of the cards. There's a lot of different ways that things can be interpreted, and some people, it's how they read, right? They're reading for a specific demographic, people who are coming to their readings with specific sets of questions. I don't specifically do love questions, but the way those cards came out with all the moon energy, with all the secrets that we're seeing, with the card about marriage, with the fact that the Queen of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords hid in the deck, right? They flipped and hid, which tells me somebody's not saying something, somebody's being secretive. And this is in the action space. These 2 cards and the 3 of Cups on the underlying. This is telling me that somebody may have maybe married or maybe married and not being honest about that, or they may be in a situation involving marriage or involving a wife or a mother and they're not being honest about that. They feel trapped. They may be getting a divorce, but they're not free yet. That's coming through strongly enough for me to pull it out as a specific thread for somebody. It's not going to be for everybody, right? We just adjust my camera a little bit so you can see a little bit better. There's definitely something that somebody's not saying about some kind of situation that's probably involving marriage or probably involving a wife, a mother, a boss. Yeah, there's something's going on. Okay, so what is going on? What is going on? There's the Eight of Cups again there, which we saw here with the kind of the feeling of like, I'm not satisfied. Right, let me just reset a second. The strongest energy is in the major arcana, and the major arcana is in your emotions, and emotionally you're coming through with the Emperor and the Empress, which is very, very stable. The Emperor and Empress are a match. This is another sign that somebody could be married. It could be it's a power couple. The Emperor and the Empress together are a power couple. They are a perfect match. No wonder I was using the God and the Goddess deck, right? This is saying to me there is you feel, again, with the Two of Pentacles, it could be telling me that you feel this pull between your masculine side and your feminine side. The Emperor, again, you could be female and show up as Emperor energy. I was doing this myself for quite a while. And we go in and out of different energies. We're not always Emperor energy. So this is telling me currently, emotionally, they're giving me a song that they've been giving me all week. Like emotionally, you feel like you've got this. Emotionally, you feel like I'm in control here. I'm actively making decisions. I'm taking control of my own life. It's a very active kind of yang energy. I get yin and yang mixed up, but it's that kind of active. I'm going to take steps to get control of my life. I feel like I'm in control of my life. I feel like I'm the boss here, right? I'm the boss. That's the energy that it's telling me you're currently feeling. Or there's somebody around you who is this Emperor, who is like this father figure, a boss, a husband. They're normally very, very stable, very, very grounded. But especially with the Knight of Wands showing up here, I feel like this person is a little bit entrepreneurial. Like they are often onto the next thing. You know, it's like they're onto a certain project. They get that project off the ground. They're really enthusiastic. They get it up and running. You know, it gets to a stable place and it's like, right, on to the next thing. So it's like, once you get it stable, it's kind of like that energy of like, you know, Elon Musk, he doesn't do everything himself, right? He delegates. So he's like, I've got this idea. Let's get a team around me. Let's get this started. I'm going to get the right people in the right places. That's running by itself now. I'm going to go on and start a different project. That kind of energy. Yeah, it could be you, it could be somebody around you, but I can see this kind of conflict or this indecision or this pulling in two different directions. It's like, should I take such a kind of upfront approach, or should I relax a little bit and move into a more gentle yin energy? So for some of you, you are pulling back a little bit. You're playing more of a supportive role. She still has a lot of power. The Empress has a lot of influence, a lot of power. And again, take gender out of it. It's more about a role that you're playing. You know, one person could play different roles. So this is more of a supportive energy rather than being the person making the decisions. This is more of an advisor. It's the person saying, let's figure this out. I've got your back. I'm going to support you. Just tell me what needs to be done and I'll go and get that sorted. It's that kind of energy, but she can still delegate, right? She can still run the show. They're both kind of boss energy, just boss energy in a supportive way, or boss energy in a kind of everybody follow me way, right? There's different ways of being. Yeah, definitely this being torn between two different energies, or juggling, or trying to harness it with the Two of Pentacles there emotionally, but very, very emotionally strong, extremely emotionally strong. I can see in the past you were very conflicted with the Two of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is in your thoughts, which is where it should be. Swords are thoughts, right? This is kind of like, it can be like somebody pecking your head, right? Somebody in your ear, somebody pecking your head. Or just that kind of feeling of nagging. Do you know what? Because crows symbolize like intuition for me. So this is that feeling of like something nagging you. Like something, like I was saying up here, it's like there's something off. There's something that's nagging you. Something you can't get out of your head, something that's bothering you, like that twinge, that urge, that feeling, and this is you actually acting on it. So really interesting to see. The Five of Swords can be like conflicted, like pulled in different directions, conflict of opinions, conflict of thoughts, it can be verbal conflict as well, like people like not agreeing, having a bit of an argument. So there could have been an argument that kind of like got in your head, yeah, there was something, it's like you had this feeling like there's something I can't get out of my head. Like maybe somebody said something to you and it's like, you really got stuck on it, right? And it could be like, you know what? I'm getting the feeling, because this feels like an advisor kind of thing. It could be that feeling of like, you know what? People tell me stuff all the time. People criticize me all the time. I'm the boss. I'm the leader. I'm used to it. I make decisions. Sometimes they're tough decisions. Do you know what? People aren't going to always be happy with every decision that I make. You know, there's always going to be differences of opinion. I'm okay with that. But it's like one person says something and it really gets stuck in your head. And it's like, well, why is that bothering me? You know, people say shit to me all the time, but I'm getting in somebody's energy now. I don't feel like I'm talking like myself. Like people say shit to me all the time. So why is that? Why is that bothering me? So then you act on it. So in the past here, I can see this feeling of like walking away from something, or the Eight of Cups is like, like I've got stuff here, like I've got stuff here, but I'm not satisfied. There's still something missing. I'm missing something, so I want to go out and find what I'm missing. I kind of need to go on a journey. I need to go and figure this out, so actively going to try and figure something out. The Five of Swords is also this energy of like winning at all costs. So there is a kind of cutthroat energy coming through with the Emperor, the King of Wands, and the King of Swords. The King of Swords will make, and this is right in the middle of your reading, your current energy. The King of Swords sees very clearly, and they do make very clear-cut decisions. Where the Queen of Swords, again with the kind of more feminine energy, the Libran energy, is a little bit more, let's talk this through. Let's talk this through. Let's hash this out. Let's look at this from all different angles. The King of Swords is like, I've got to make a decision sooner or later. So I'm gonna make the decision. My sword is coming down on this. So I do feel like you're in a position where, again, you can flip it and reverse it. I could be reading for somebody's person, but the person I'm reading for here, they do have to make decisions. And I feel like there's probably timing involved. It's like, I can't sit and discuss this forever. I have to make a decision. You are a little bit win at all costs. You are a little bit like, I'm going to do what needs to be done. Sometimes you rip off that plaster and it's going to hurt, but, a swift cut is the cleanest cut. Let's get on with it. It's a little bit like that. I don't know if somebody's got a little bit of Aries in the chart as well. That's Aquarius though, but I am picking up on that kind of Aries of like, let's just get this done and let's keep moving. But in your action space here, there's definitely this feeling of like something that you're longing for, or something like nostalgia, or something that you miss, something that's just, because it's all cups, it's like properly, it's something really emotional. It's something really nostalgic. It's something really close to your heart. There could be something about children, because the Six of Cups can indicate children. It could be that, maybe you work away from home, you go on business trips a lot, and you miss your family, your children, your dog. It could also be just it is equal give and take as well though. The Six of Cups, even though it's got this like, sometimes I call it my bellyache card, it's like remembering the past, like longing for something from the past, nostos, homecoming, that kind of energy, especially with the Eight of Cups being sat next to it. But they show me like they gave me something, it was something like teary-eyed, but there was something else as well. I didn't quite get it. And they were showing me like a tear in the eye, like something that brings tears to your eye when you think about it, like really nostalgic about it. It could be something to do with your own childhood, memories of your own childhood, memories of your own father. Again, the Emperor can be a father. Maybe somebody has an Aquarius father. Yeah, but the Six of Cups can also mean equal give and take, like soulmates, having soulmates around you. And I don't necessarily mean like lovers, because I'm not seeing the lovers card here, but people who are meant to be in your life, right? And this can be family, children, co-workers, friends, the people that you meet in the street, or even like people who you meet in the shop regularly, like just the people around you who mean something to you, and perhaps missing them and longing for them. But you're feeling very decisive at this point. It's almost like being sat in indecision, being sat in like something plaguing you, something being stuck in your head, knowing that you need to make a decision here, knowing that perhaps you have to cut a tie, you have to move on from something. Doing it in a very empowered way, being like, right, okay, I'm dropping the sword now, the decision's been made, what's done is done, let's move forward. But you're not quite letting go of it, which I think is bringing you into a more feminine energy. Again, let's take gender out of the equation, it's just the energy, but this energy that's more nurturing, because the Queen of Pentacles is also very nurturing. Empress and Queen of Pentacles actually quite similar in this energy of like, I'm going to nurture you, I'm going to provide for you, I'm going to support you, I'm very capable, I'm going to, I've got a lot of skills here, I've got a lot of things to bring to the table, I know what I'm doing. Oh, the song that I was getting that I mentioned, it was Lana Del Rey's White Dress. when I was a waitress wearing a white dress, look how I do this, look how I got this. And it's been coming up a lot for me because I'm not a waitress, but I work in like a bistro. I work in the kitchen, and have been singing it to myself. It's like when things get a little bit stressful, I'm like, you know, look, I've got this. You know, even just to myself. To everybody else, I'm like, I'm making a mess, but to myself, it's like, I've got this. Don't stress it. Breathe through it. Take it one step at a time. You know what you're doing. You know how to do this. You've got this. You know, I'm a waitress. I'm not wearing a white dress, but look how I got this. Look how I do this. And it's that energy of like, I've got this. I've got this. Look how I do this. I know what I'm doing. I've got the skill. I've done this before. That kind of energy. But again, for some of you, it's very mentally trapped, very mentally stuck in your own thoughts here about something from the past, I want to say, perceiving yourself as trapped, perhaps having that victim mentality, perhaps having a lot of responsibilities for the people around you, you know, especially if you've got children, because this is about children. I'm a mum here, I've got to look after my children, I can't do the thing I want to do. Although I'm very attracted to something, there's something I really want to do. There's something that's got me all fired up. There's something that's got me, like, I'm very passionate about it. I'm aware of this in my thoughts. I'm cognitively aware of this. Emotionally feeling supportive, emotionally being nurturing, thinking, how do I get this? How do I do this? I've got this. I've got this. Yeah, I've got this. That's the energy of it. I've got this. Look how I do this. It could be something to do with your community or friendship group. What do I want to clarify? Like, you know what you're missing. I don't need to clarify that. What's this trapped energy? Why are you stuck in your own head? Is that the fucking devil card? No, it's the King of Swords. You need to, need to say what you need. There's the Queen of Pentacles again. You need to say what you need, and you need to express your truth. And you, in a very matter-of-fact way, not in a way where people feel like you're attacking them, just in a kind of way of like, look, this is where I'm at and this is what I need, okay? It's taking ownership of things. It's being truthful. The King of Swords often holds back. You can see here he's got his sword lowered. The advice here in the immediate future is to raise your sword, do what needs to be done, take the action you need to take, say what needs to be said. In a very straightforward, matter-of-fact way, right? So if you can't do that, again, with that throat chakra thing that I had, again, it's like cutting away the cobwebs, right? Cutting away the cobwebs in your own mind, not perceiving yourself as trapped, but like getting out of the situation. Can you show me? I play a game called, talking about computer games, I play a game called The Sims, and there's one of the things that you can do in it is you can explore a jungle, but you have to get through the doorways, right? But the doorways are all overgrown with like vines and things, so you have to get a machete and like chop your way through to be able to get through that thing. It's like, that's kind of what they're showing me. It's like you have to chop your way through. It's like this is almost like a gateway or a portal, and you perceive yourself as trapped. You're like, how can I get through that? But it's like, because you're actually equipped with what you need. It's coming through very computer gamey. You're equipped with what you need, right? To chop your way through that, the things that are tying you up. It's kind of making me think of Capricorn's reading. They had this thing about spider webs. It's like you can get the spider webs out of your own head, right? Don't perceive yourself as a victim. Don't see yourself as trapped. You've picked up, right, on your journey through the map, you've picked up the exact thing that you need to get your way out of this situation. Like, you've got the key to get through to the next stage, I want to say. And it's communication, it's being straightforward, it's even like, this can even indicate the need to speak to an advisor, like a lawyer. It can be doctors. If you need to speak to a doctor, speak to a doctor, you know, a mental health doctor even, although that tends to be more King of Cups energies. Like a King of Cups would be like a counselor, but this is a little bit more medical, right? A little bit more clinical. I don't know, make of it as you will. Aquarius energy, but the butterflies signify Gemini for me. And then it's definitely something about this Queen of Pentacles. So tell me about the Queen of Pentacles then. Is this Leo or is this not Leo? I don't know. Knight of Wands could be somebody that you're very, very attracted to, somebody who's very passionate, somebody who's very impulsive, somebody who's always off onto the next thing. It's like, again, it's that energy of like, this is done now, let's go on to the next thing. But they're facing backwards. So it's almost like this energy of like rushing back to something from the past. Tell me about the King of Wands tell me about the King of Swords then. Tell me more about the King of Swords. Yeah, getting over something, healing from something. You've thought something over, took the time out you needed to think something over, and now you're clear. And it's in between the Five of Swords, which is when you were getting in your own head and seeing clearly. So you just needed that time to think things through, which is in your thoughts, which is good. That's fine. So you do see clearly. King of Wands is the High Priestess. Again, like, trust your own instincts on this one. Your instincts are not wrong. You know, there's things that are not being said, there's things that are not being seen, but your instincts, because the King of Wands has great instincts and the High Priestess is very intuitive. Your instincts and your intuition is going to get you through. Don't get trapped in your own head about this. What's the Empress? What's the Emperor? Why is the Emperor here? Nine of Swords. The Emperor, whatever the Emperor energy is, that's what's getting you in your own head. Again, it could be because you have to make decisions for others, because you are seen as like the leader in a situation, it could be very stressful for you. Just be worried. There's something about mental health. Just watch your mental health on this one and your stress. Look, again here, heal. Whatever this is, you need to make sure you take the time to heal this. If you're getting stressed, make sure you sleep, right? Make sure you're getting enough sleep. You know, whatever is causing you headache energy, definitely you could be experiencing headaches and migraines. Again, you may have to, again with this card indicating a doctor, you may actually need to go and speak to a doctor about that. If it's long term, if it's just a couple of days, right, it's like that's just a blip. But if it's like long term, this is like turning into a problem, especially with Nine of Swords energy. Go and get that help that you need, right? The Empress here in your future emotions. It could be you wanting to express your feelings, or this could be somebody that you really want to express your feelings to. The Knight of Cups is telling somebody how you feel, or making some sort of emotional gesture. There's action being taken. So you may not be taking it, because I can see that you feel very trapped here, but emotionally there is definitely something that you want to express in regards to this Empress energy, which could be you or somebody else. All right, I hope this was really helpful to you, the lovers. For some of you, this is definitely feeling like somebody's your soulmate, feeling, because this is soulmate energy, feeling like there's, you know, the yin to your yang or the yang to your yin, balance, a lot of stuff about balance. But there's that Five of Swords again. Just be careful about getting stuck in your own head. Be careful about, especially if you've got a little bit of Aries in your chart, be careful about your need to win at all costs. Just be careful if you've got that tendency to want to always be right. You always want to be the one making decisions. You don't want to be seen, you don't want to accept guilt or blame, you know, that kind of energy. Just be careful of that, because you don't want to, you don't want to sabotage a good thing. You don't want to ruin something that's meant for you. It's been divinely guided to you. Advice, please. Advice for anyone resonating with this reading. If you're not resonating with it, it's fine. It could just be somebody else's reading this time. Nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. Time to release negativity. What did I say? No victim mentality, Leo. We're not doing that here. We know how awesome we are on this channel. We know that the universe is our friend and, brings us the things and the experiences that are necessary for our own personal growth. Nothing happens to us, it happens for us. So if we're getting given opportunities to tackle something difficult, if we're getting opportunities to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and handle something head on, or not handle it, get knocked down, how do we pick ourselves back up again? Why do we fall, Bruce? Nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. Mutable is all about change, shape-shifting even, that something is still developing. The card indicates that something is indeed changing and there's room for maneuver. So take it as a sign that the situation you're asking about is far from finalised. If you're not happy with the current state of play, that's marvellous. It means that you can still change the course of the outcome. However, there is also a sense that the situation could perhaps be a little unstable. For some, this is great news because you can still influence it. Yay! Others will struggle with the uncertainty, but should stay with it a little longer. Either way, nothing is set in stone yet. That's interesting. That's interesting. Sometimes you can do a reading and you think, oh, I see that. I can see that in the world or somebody around me. I know that the best will unfold for me, not to you, for you, right? You're meandering towards your goal and that's okay. Staying adaptable is the key to success for you now. So just be careful, because that energy, that King of Swords, is making decisions, right? but the decision, maybe they haven't quite made the decision yet. There is still room for maneuver. Staying adaptable is the key to success for you now. Make sure you're not being led astray. Have you become distracted? Time to focus. Stay with it, whatever it means for you. Yeah, so I feel like you are actually being asked to be a little bit more flexible, because you're going from an energy that's trying to make all the decisions, you know, trying to be the boss, trying to make the decisions, trying to be seen as that strong leader, where actually, and I say this quite often, sometimes the best leaders are the ones that listen and who are adaptable and who are mutable, because the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles and King of Wands, I would say quite a lot, they're a lot more mutable than the Emperor and the King of Swords. So this is kind of like, my decision's final, but this is like, I'm open to ideas, especially with the King of Wands, open to ideas, flexible, supportive. That seems to be the energy that you're moving into. So be flexible. Be flexible, but use that King of Swords energy to get yourself out of any situations where you feel like you're being trapped, right? Where you feel like your hands are being tied. And just watch out again for that conflict energy. Sometimes our own behavior can kind of exacerbate conflict. So if you're being very, this is the way it is, what's done is done, I've said it, that's it, that's how it is. Other people can feel like they're not being heard. And sometimes, you can still make the same decision, but just make it a little bit of space and time to be like, all right, talk me through it. What's your idea then? Why is this bothering you? And you might actually be surprised, especially if you're dealing with an Empress, because they give really good advice. Like, they're not just nagging you for the sake of nagging you. They're nagging you because they see an opportunity. They see potential for a huge amount of growth. Like these three cards together, this is an energy that nurtures things, very creative, thinks outside the box, and makes things grow, right? Really, really, there's opportunity, especially these two cards, huge amount of opportunity here, right? And you don't want to perhaps bring that sword down too soon and miss out on some kind of like creative opportunity or idea that could actually be very, very profitable and very, very valuable. Right, okay, so I see. Okay, I've got it. So overall message, just to kind of understand it, it's this energy of like, I need to make a decision and be like, there's people are arguing around me. I know I need to make a decision. This is stressful for me. I'm just going to make a decision, and then my decision is final. So it's like, I almost feel like you've made that decision, but then there's still this nagging doubt. There's still this energy, and it's because your emotions are involved. So it could be like a person that you're attached to. It's like, I made that decision, and now this person's actually bringing up some really good points, and I care about that person. And I had to make that decision because, maybe the situation was getting out of hand, like a decision had to be made. But at the same time, I've got some kind of nagging doubt. And then, do you notice how, like, the Queen of Pentacles is looking back, and that, was it like a knight that came out? The Knight of Wands was like looking back. So I feel like there's an opportunity, even though in the current education, maybe it's an education thing, in the current situation, there's a very firm decision that's being made, right? Which might be what was needed at the time. There is an opportunity to hear people out, especially people that you care about, right? Their opinion matters to you. So why? What is that nagging doubt? Why is that thing? Why is it important? Because there's emotions attached to it. So you're going back, you're hearing them out. Like, it's kind of like going back over an old argument. Like, all right, I had to make a decision, but I've got 5 more minutes. Just explain to me what you were on about, that kind of thing. And then it's like, oh, okay, I actually see it. I see what you're saying here. I see the potential. And you know what? Leaders can change their mind. Leaders can say, that decision, shifting the goalpost now, and it may not be popular, but again, there's potential here that I feel like you missed. And it's almost like intuitively you missed it because there's emotions attached. So just go back and check it and be open to just let people explain a little bit more, right? Maybe you shut someone down a bit too quickly because you had to in the moment, but it's like, just go back and be like, okay, what were you trying to say to me there? Like, I've got an extra minute, just explain it to me. Like, why were you saying that thing? Because there's something there that you've missed where there's a lot of potential. Ugh, okay, blah. Done. I hope that was helpful to you, Leo. I'm really annoyed that it was an hour and 8 minutes because I've got other stuff to do that I want to be doing, and I'm here and it's going to take ages to upload. But obviously that message needed to come through, and what needed to be said, I think, is getting said, especially because we started out with that thing about the throat chakra and not speaking, and then the King of Swords, his sword was raised. So I feel like something that wasn't being said is being said, and I feel like it's better for it. Stay adaptable. Make sure you have to make decisions, but you can still be open, right? You can still be open. You can still make that time and space to hear people out. Hope it was helpful to you. I'm going. Take care of yourselves. Leave me a like if you like, subscribe, all that business, and I'm going. Bye, Leos.